Hey people in YouTube land, Zach Hall here, and today I just want to tell you guys about the Romans Bible study and want to do a quick introduction video for you on kind of giving you a broad idea of how the study is going to go, what it's going to look like, what it will feel like, and kind of what we're going to cover, and just give you a general outline and sketch of what the series is going to be. So I got 7 points real quick, just want to go through them real quick. So number one, I just kind of tell you the perspective I'm coming from. So obviously every Christian YouTuber has a tradition, denomination they're a part of, a way that they view the scriptures, where they're coming from. So I kind of want to just be open and honest with you guys right at the beginning. I will be coming from a more Reformed Baptist perspective on the scriptures, how I view the scriptures, and how we'll be interpreting them. I will mention and show other views as we come across those passages. So for example, like in Romans 8 and 9, where there's a lot of disagreement on what those passages mean, we'll look at different interpretations. I'll tell you what I think it says, but I'll also give you the other options as well. Also on Romans 7, there's a couple of views there on sanctification, or on whether Paul was converted or he wasn't converted, and does the Christian actually struggle with the flesh like it says there. So there's a couple different views in that chapter as well. Also in Romans chapter 4, when it talks about justification by faith, is Paul talking about justification by faith alone? Is he talking about justification by faith but not apart from works, and that works of the law mean the ceremonial laws? So there's a couple different ways to see that. But again, coming at it as a Reformed Baptist, I will obviously hold certain positions in those key passages. Another thing is, even though I am Reformed Baptist, I do hold to an unlimited atonement and not a limited atonement. So when we come across passages like that, I will explain my position as well. I hold more of a Lutheran view of the atonement, even though I would consider myself a Reformed Baptist. Second point is keep the comments respectful, okay? So I don't mind pushback on any of my opinions, because they are just my opinions. They are my interpretation of the scriptures. I hope they are faithful to what Paul was teaching and to what Christ intended for his church to have. But I also know that I am fallible. I also know I am not perfect. So I don't mind any pushback on my perspectives, but and I want to keep the comment section open to friendly debates or conversations. As the scriptures say, iron sharpens iron. So you're more than welcome to post contrary views or tell me why you think I'm wrong, as long as you do it in a spirit of charity and really looking for an open dialogue. If you're going to be someone who's, staunch and set in their position, you're going to try to persuade me, I'm going to probably ignore the comment or end up blocking you, because I am leading the Bible study. I already have a perspective in a way that I'm going to be teaching it. So this is not me looking to be convinced by you coming onto my channel and commenting to me. So I just kind of find it funny that some people get on there and they think they're going to change the person's mind. Listen, I'm coming from this from a Reformed perspective. That's what I believe the scriptures teach. So I'm not going to be debating on here a ton with, if it gets where you're trying to persuade me of your position and everything. If you have your position, your tradition, there are tons of great Bible teachers and Christians from different denominations and things like that on YouTube. You can go on their channels, watch their Bible studies if that's who you agree with. Don't waste your time arguing with somebody who you don't agree with. So again, just want to kind of lay out that for you. So keep the comments respectful, but I don't mind pushback, and I don't mind even hard pushback. So I rarely have ever had to block anybody from this channel. Number three, to give you an idea of how the style or what to experience in each Bible study, this will be a verse-by-verse exposition of the scriptures. So I will follow a historical grammatical approach of interpretation, which means understanding the context, the history, the time it was written in, what culture was written to, who it was written to, what are the main themes of the book, more of a literal approach, but also we will be interpreting narrative as narrative, poetry as poetry, things like that. So it'll be a historical grammatical method rather than an allegorical. So I don't want to just be making things up or spiritualizing passages that aren't meant to be taken in a spiritualized context. For example, on the difference between these two views, if you take the parable of the Good Samaritan, one view that was held in the early church in the allegorical method was that the inn in the story, the inn that the Jewish man or the Samaritan takes the Jewish man to, a lot of old church fathers interpret that as the church. The inn is the church. The Good Samaritan is Jesus, who leads the sinner to the church. The hurt Jew would be us, who are going through our sins and struggles. And then the Good Samaritan would be Jesus, who leads us again to the church to be healed. whereas a more grammatical, historical method is going to take that as what Jesus was addressing, which was a self-righteous Jew who was asking, who is my neighbor? And it says that he was seeking to justify himself. So I believe that Christ gave that parable to show this man he is not righteous as he thinks he is, and he needs to believe on Christ for his righteousness. But it also does teach Christians how to love their neighbor truly. So that's kind of a different approach to the scripture. So we'll be taking the more grammatical, historical method. Number 4, my aim is to keep these studies between 15 and 30 minutes long. Again, let me know in the comments if that's too long or if you think it could go longer. I'm open to either way. Another thing is I did release a poll a while back on my channel. If you didn't vote on it, just let me know in the comments what you prefer. As of right now, the poll question was, do you want the camera facing the Bible during the Bible study or towards me? And I think pretty overwhelmingly it was that the camera to be faced towards the Bible. So if you want that to change, just let me know in the comment section. We can always change that later. But the first couple will be the camera pointed towards the Bible as we go through the Bible study. Number 5, I'll create a folder for you guys under my playlist tab on my channel titled Romans Bible Study. So if you missed any of the studies or you want to look back at a particular study, you don't have to go searching through my entire playlist or my entire video list on my channel. You can just go to this playlist, go through the different chapters and verses and pick out the study that you want to look at. It also makes it easier to share with people. So if you're in a church or if you're in a small group and maybe you're going through this and you want to share it with some of other people that are a part of your group, it makes sharing the whole Bible study with your friends a lot easier, and they can also benefit from it as well. Number 6, it will be free. Okay, so one of my big pet peeves on my channel is that everything I do is free for you guys. My channel is not even monetized. I know that they play commercials and stuff on it, but I don't get any money from that. That was just a policy YouTube passed for everybody, so I don't really have control over that. But I do want you to know I don't even make money off the ads that run on my channel, and I do not want to charge you guys for any of this material as well. I know a lot of YouTubers who do this professionally. This is more of a side gig for me, something I enjoy doing, and I want it to be a labor of love for you guys. So I will not be charging anything for this material, and you can use it freely as well. And then 7th, just to give you the idea, the first study of what we'll do will be only on Romans 1:1, and we'll be actually looking at the life of Paul and essentially who is he and how do we get to this point where he is writing this letter, and kind of his life story and why he is an apostle now. How did we get to that point? And again, why is he writing to the Romans? So we'll kind of just look at verse 1 to start off the Bible study and ease into it by looking at the character of Paul and the first verse that he's a servant of Jesus Christ and separated unto the gospel of God, and talk about what that means in that time and place. So that's kind of a little bit of how the study's going to go. So I just want to get this out there for you guys so you guys can prepare for that. Again, the first study will probably come out in the next couple weeks. I'm just trying to get enough material where I can stay ahead of myself, so that way we don't kind of get caught up to where I don't post for a while. So I'm going to try to keep it consistent on posting. So I want to build up a couple weeks worth of material before I start doing that. But that's kind of what to expect in the general outline of how this will go. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything that you want to address in the 7 points I brought up, feel free to mention those in the comments below. But I hope you guys have a great night. Take care and God bless.